to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts, both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts, both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts, both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts, both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts, both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable disease. Alma Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable diseases. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable diseases. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable diseases. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need of public health experts both in national and global scale.
Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health has developed a unique, rigorous, and customized academic curriculum which is suitable for students with different backgrounds of business. Please explore our website in your hand.
In this COVID-19 pandemic era and beyond, the role of public health manager and public health practitioner is highly needed to prevent and control the unfinished and challenging COVID-19 and other communicable diseases, as well as the dramatically increasing non-communicable diseases. Alma-Ata Graduate School of Public Health is present to address this increasing need.
Distinguished Vice Rector of Alma-Ata University, Distinguished Head of Faculty of Economic and Business, Distinguished Dean of Faculty of Economic and Business, Distinguished Dean of Faculty of Islamic Study, Alma-Ata University, Distinguished Lecturer of Faculty Economic and Business and Faculty of Islamic Studies, Alma-Ata University. Honorable speakers, Associate Professor Dr. Norziaton Ismail Khan from Teknologi Mara University, Malaysia, Professor Choi Yong-Rok from Inha University in South Korea, Ms. Tyagita Sudibyo, SEMM from Alma-Ata University, Indonesia, and Mr. Febrian Wahyu Wibowo, SME from Alma Ata University, Indonesia, other distinguished guests, and all the participants of the event. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Buka jendela, Bang Choi.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Amma ba'du. Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. National Webinar Series 1 about government policies to small medium enterprise during pandemic COVID-19. We would like to thank you all for joining us today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Asri Dwi Aryani. I am so honored to be one of your master ceremony, helping guide you through our program today. Okay. A few housekeeping notes before we begin today's webinar. First, we kindly ask you to switch your microphone into silent mode to avoid distraction. And then, may you can change your account name with name underscore your institution. Yeah, for example, Asri underscore Alma Ata University, like that. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in the next 2 days, we will be presenting in a series of webinar event. The title of webinar, webinar first series is government policies, governance policies to small medium enterprise during pandemic COVID-19. Okay, the presentation will be delivered in 1 hour with 4 different topics by our extraordinary speakers. Okay. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will open the webinar with recitation of Al-Quran. Then together we will listen the Indonesian national anthem and Alma Ata University March. Yeah, immediately following this opening, Professor Dr. Haji Hamam Hadi, MSCSD SPGK, is director of Alma Ata University, will deliver his opening speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall begin this webinar with the recitation of Al-Quran from Miss Mursida. Yeah, to the name mentioned, the time is yours. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ms. Morsida, to recite a very beautiful Holy Quran verses. Before we proceed further this morning, I would like to invite ladies and gentlemen to listen up for Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Thank you. And next, I would like to invite ladies and gentlemen to listen up for Alma Ata University March. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And the next, to formally initiate this event, may we invite this distinguished rector of Alma Ata University to give a welcome speech to Professor Dr. Haji Hamam Hadi, MSSCD, SPK. Please, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning. Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Business, the University of Alma Ata and her staff, distinguished speakers, and especially those I highly respect, Professor Norziaton Ismail Ph.D. from Mara University of Technology, Malaysia, and Professor Yong-Rok from Inha University, South Korea. Honorable lecturers, students, and all participants of this seminar titled as the government policies for SMEs during COVID-19 pandemics. First of all, I would like to express our gratitude for the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has always shown his blessing and gift so that we can hold this wonderful seminar with the theme of the government policies for SMEs during COVID-19 pandemic. Furthermore, we would like to thank and welcome Professor Norziaton Ismail, Professor Choi Yong-Rok, and other speakers who were pleased to attend and share their knowledge in this seminar. Professor Norziaton and also Professor Choi Yong-Rok, you are all very welcome to be with us today. And we really hope that we can develop for the cooperation between our university and your university, especially on the economic and other related business activities in the near future. So again, I would like to thank very much. I would like to thank you very much for your participation in this seminar. To these seminar participants, I would like to congratulate you on your participation to this seminar. And hopefully today's seminar will run smoothly and successfully and provide benefits to the lives of all of us. And finally, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I would like to declare that this seminar is officially open. And thank you very much and congratulations. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
And gentlemen, before the next session, there will be a picture taking session. Yeah. May you can switch on your camera, yeah, and we are taking a photo session, yeah. Please switch on your camera, yeah, and I will counting, yeah, 3, 2, 1, yeah. Okay. Okay, please, all the participants, yeah, may you can switch on your camera. Okay. Three, two, one. Okay. One more. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Simbolnya aja. Okay. Thank you for. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we shall proceed this event with the presentation by the keynote speakers. Yeah, today we will have 4 honorable speaker for this first session webinar. Yeah. For the main session, yeah, I would like to invite here, yeah, he is Mr. Ageng Asmarasani, yeah, he is our moderator for this webinar international, yeah. Let me introduce Mr. Ageng Asmarasani. Yeah, Mr. Ageng Asmarasani is now the head and also the lecturer in the Islamic Banking Studies in Alma Ata University. Yeah. Okay. Let us give a round of applause of Mr. Ageng Asmarasani.
Thank you. Are my voice loud and clear? Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Honorable Rector Alma University, Professor Dr. Hamam Hadi, MS, SPD, SPGK, the distinguished Chairman of Alma Ata Foundation, Mrs. Dr. Anda Ida Rufaidali, distinguished Dean Faculty of Economic and Business, and Faculty of Islamic Studies of Alma Ata University, distinguished speaker at the international webinar today, and the last but not least, all faculty member and all participants of the international webinar. Alhamdulillah, syukurillah, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh, wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina min sayyiati a'malina, may yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah, asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, la nabiyya wa rasula ba'da. Okay, good morning, greetings to all of us. Today we will carry out a webinar which will be filled with extraordinary speakers. With the theme is SMEs overview, government policies. Okay. As we know, the COVID-19 pandemic has a major impact to the all aspect of life, like health, politics, economic, and so on. Yeah, the slowdown in the economic activity can be seen from various aspects, like reduced SMEs income, and somehow termination of employment from his or her workplace. Okay, yeah. Before I answer the presentation from the speaker, I will introduce myself. Yeah, my name is Ageng Asmarasani as the moderator who will guide our event in this morning. Today, we have 4 extraordinary speakers. The first is Associate Professor Mrs. Norziaton Ismail Khan, Ph.D. She is from Teknologi Universiti, Malaysia, and Professor Choi Yong-Rok from Inha University, Korea, and then Assistant Professor Mrs. Tyagita Dianingtyas, MM, from Alma Ata University, Indonesia, and the last is Assistant Professor is Mr. Febrian Wahyu, Wibowo, MA, from Alma Ata University. Okay. To all speakers, get maybe 15 to 20 minutes for give presentation, and after all speakers end of the presentation, we will enter a Q&A section. Okay, so the participants, you must try to give a best question to our speakers. Okay, we're going to the first speaker. She's Mrs. Norziaton Ismail Khan, Ph.D. She is a lecturer at Teknologi University, and she has a academic qualification in 2012, Ph.D. in accounting. The discipline is corporate governance and auditing at University of Malaya, and she has a professional membership as associate member of Malaysian Institute Accountant and CPA at Australia. Okay, our speaker, give me applause. Give to the Mrs. Norziaton Ismail Khan. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum. Alhamdulillah.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, before I start, thank you very much, the University of Alma Ata University, all right, for inviting me to sharing knowledge, basically, rather than it's more like we are sharing knowledge in the perspective of Malaysia SMEs and focusing on the pandemic issues. All right, so I think so. I'm given like how many minutes? 15 to 20 minutes, I suppose. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Right.
So shall we start?
Okay. Wait a minute.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
I'm sorry. I will talk to my colleagues to share the presentation.
All right.
Okay, Miss Norziaton.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I think so. We have to enlarge the screen. Yeah. All right. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All right. So basically, I'm representing the UiTM Faculty of Accountancy, UiTM Puncak Alam, Malaysia, and the topic for our sharing session today will be on the SMEs overview, the government's policies for SMEs. Okay. Next. Next. Okay, due to the constraint of time, I have decided to discuss or to share 4 subtopics which on the overviews of SMEs in Malaysia, the government policies, government initiatives, and also moving forward. Okay, as we know that in Malaysia, okay, we have categorized the SMEs into 3. Okay, so that will be the first micro enterprise. All right, and we have also categorized it under manufacturing and also services and other sectors. So if you see here that the how do we categorize is based on the sales turnover and also number of employees. Yeah, so for the micro business, the sales turnover should be less than 300,000 or the employees should be less than 5. Okay, same goes with the services and other sectors. So as we move on to the small businesses or entrepreneurs, you will see that the sales turnover is around 300,000 and up to a max of 15 million. And the employees or the employees should be within 5 to less than 75 for manufacturing. And also for the sales turnover for services and other sectors, we have 300,000 and less than 300 million or employees within 5 to less than 30. So the last part of the tiers, okay, basically is the medium size entrepreneurs. So under the manufacturing is around 15 million turnover and less or equivalent to 50 million, or number of employees should be from 75 to less or equivalent to 200. Whereas for services and other sectors, sales turnover should be 3 million less or equivalent to 20 million, and the employee should be from 30 to less or equivalent to 75. So from here, we see that we have identified and we have categorized the SMEs accordingly, okay, according to micro, small, and also medium. All right, next. Okay, so the overview here, all right, if you can see that, as we all know, SMEs are the backbone. Okay, SMEs are the backbone of the economy, I believe so, not only in Malaysia, but worldwide, where it represents 98.5% of the business establishments. So as we can see here, there are 907,000 basic, 907,065 establishments. If you see that most of the categories contributed by micro enterprises, which carries 78.5%, and small contributes 21.2%, and the medium size contribute only 2.3%. And as we can see here, that majority, or 20.6% of SMEs are women-owned. So how do we define women-owned? Basically, it has to be equivalent or more than 51% of the equity held by a woman or a woman. Okay, CEO or MD is a woman that owns at least 10% of the equity. So when we categorize those SMEs by sectors, so we can see that majority of the sectors falls under the category of services. So it's around 89.2% that distribute subsectors, including repair of motor vehicles, motorcycles, yeah. And if you look at the manufacturing, it contributes 5.3%, basically, all right, predominantly in wearing apparels, food products, and construction consists of only 4.3%, parts of building and civil engineering works, agriculture of only 1.1%, and also mining and quarrying of 0.1%. So this is the SME performance in 2019. Okay, next. All right. Before, okay. All right, so if we can see here, okay, how do we classify those SMEs? The overall status majority, I could say 77% of total SMEs in Malaysia categorized under micro enterprises, yeah, micro entrepreneurs. So majority from services, manufacturing, agriculture. However, if we look, and also construction, yeah. However, if we look at mining and quarrying, you will see that micro is only 19.1%, and majority falls under the category of small. If we were to look at the states, yeah, so majority of the SMEs in a state of Selangor, which carries 19.5%, and also Wilayah Persekutuan Kuala Lumpur of 13.1%. Okay, next. All right, so for the government policies for SMEs, as we know that the National Entrepreneurship Policy 2030, or it is known as DKN 2030. So what is the aim? Basically to develop a competitive entrepreneurial community that is capable of competing in the global market, okay, especially focusing on the B40, where the government of Malaysia is trying to move their social mobility from B40 to M40. So what are the objectives basically of the DKN 2030? Basically is to create a holistic and conducive entrepreneur ecosystem, and to develop a Malaysian community that is imbued with an entrepreneurial mindset and culture. So as we know that SMEs is the backbone of the Malaysian economy. To produce quality, viable, resilient, and competitive entrepreneurs with a global mindset, so with the intention to market the products overseas or globally, to scale up SMEs and cooperatives, and also to make entrepreneurship a preferred career choice. So this will open up employability to the citizens of Malaysia. So as we can see here, DKN 2030 has come up with 6 strategic thrusts. All right, so this trust basically is to transform the Malaysian economy into one of that is sustainable, inclusive, progressive, and driven by knowledge and innovation. All right, next. Okay, I will not go into detail of the strategic trust, but just to highlight on the important parts of the strategic trust. So that will be number one, fostering an entrepreneurship culture across all segments of Malaysian society. So basically, it aims to making creativity, innovation in terms of product outreach, entrepreneurship outreach program, awareness program about the importance of SMEs, and also to embed the entrepreneurial culture in the education system. Okay, next. All right, for strategic trust 2, where we have 6 strategies, basically, that one of it is to promote good governance. Okay, in addition, businesses, they have to carry out good governance practices in carry out their tasks, and also to rationalize roles and functions of entrepreneurship development organizations. At the same time, monitoring, looking into improve regulatory requirements for businesses. And also, this is the main focus, I think so, is to reduce the bankruptcy stigma. So due to the pandemic, which has hit SMEs, basically, we are afraid that these SMEs might go into bankruptcy. So therefore, one of the strategies basically is to reduce the bankruptcy stigma. Okay, next. All right, for strategic number 3, okay, that is basically promoting holistic and integrated entrepreneurship development. So basically, strategies have been drawn up to increase entrepreneurial opportunities for all levels of Malaysia, all right, and also to enhance the socio-economic status. So this basically will help to have additional income for their cost of living. And strategic trust number 4, basically accelerating economic growth, innovation driven, where we will look into the growth and also innovation. So we are hoping that the SMEs will also focus on automation, digitalization, and also artificial intelligence, not only on services alone. Okay, next. All right, so strategic number 5, basically on entrepreneurial capabilities and performance, where we will look into the strengthen and implementation of vendor development programs, enhance entrepreneurship skills and capabilities, provision to targeted support and market across the, for Bumiputra especially. So majority of the SMEs belongs to the Bumis, and of course supply chain management of the SMEs. And looking at the last strategic trust, basically internalization, where we are promoting and encouraging these entrepreneurs to promote their product globally, not only local, but also in international standards, international levels. Okay, next. All right, because of the pandemic has hit the SMEs, the government has come out with several initiatives to help out the SMEs, basically, so that they are able to survive during the pandemic. So one of the activities done by the government is the Prihatin Economic Stimulus Package and also the National Economic Recovery Plan, that is Penjana. The purpose is to cushion the impact of COVID-19. All right, and the government has allocated 100 billion ringgit Malaysia to support these businesses so that it won't fall under the category of bankruptcy. So in addition to that, with the support of Bank Negara Malaysia, okay, together with the Malaysian government, so we have come up with several initiatives to the SMEs, basically one of it in terms of deferment in terms of loan, which we call moratorium. Yeah, moratorium. So it's a postponement of loan payments for 6 months for the individuals and also SMEs. So meaning that the SMEs, they are not supposed to pay for the first 6 months of the pandemic starting in March. So last year, so they are given 6 months of this moratorium, and after that another 6 months is based on case-to-case basis. They can also request if they still unable to pay up their loans to the bank. All right, next. All right. So, in addition to that, if you look here, these are the initiatives done by the government and also with the support of Bank Negara Malaysia, having these micro enterprises facilities on the capex or working capital for the SMEs. And also, if you look at the collateral-free funding, special relief facility, okay, given to the COVID-19 SMEs, which has impacted, and also all sectors, all economic sectors facility, automation and also digitalization for those who need to buy equipments, hardware, software, and also services in order moving towards IR 4.0, and also agro-food for those who are in the agriculture sectors, looking into the agriculture products. So basically, these are the initiatives and got done by the government and also with the support of Bank Negara Malaysia to help to spur the operations of the SMEs, especially the micro entrepreneurs. Okay, next. All right, so moving forward, all right, so we can see here is based on the economic performance and outlook 2019-2020, where we all know that SMEs represents more than 90% of the global business, which contributes significantly to the economic development. And based on the World Bank, they estimated around 600 million jobs will be needed by 2030 to absorb the growing global workforce, which makes SME development a great priority for many governments. Therefore, we have to ensure that the SMEs remain as it is and to avoid them from having financial difficulties. So another chapter looking into the how diversified characteristics and the performance of SME has not only enhanced its resilience, but has resulted in higher contribution to the economy way back in 2019, despite of the pandemic. All right, so we can say here that SMEs has contributed 38.9% to overall GDP, 48.4% to total employment, and 17.9% to total exports. So we really hope that the domestic demand remain the key driver of growth in the Malaysian economy, including the SMEs. Okay, next. All right, so we all know that the outbreak of COVID-19 is significant global health crisis touching every corner of the world. All right, and the issues of health issues, economics slowdown, financial imbalance, and also interrupted social life and political consequences have already reshaped the countries across the globe. Not only has impacted Malaysia, but all over the world. So as we can see that in the year 2020 was supposed to be the Visit Malaysia year. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has escalated from a health crisis into an economic crisis, this has deterred the campaign and also initiatives we're supposed to be carried out by the Malaysian government to promote tourism-related activities. So due to this, we hoping that once the pandemic has over or is over, we are hoping that the SMEs can move up, keep strong with their businesses, because currently, as we can see, that SMEs are struggling to cope with the operational stress brought by the COVID-19. Okay, next. All right, so moving forward, as we can see, this is what we expected from 2018. We are hoping that by 2013, the Malaysian position in the global index will improve. If we look at the Malaysian positions from Global Entrepreneurship Index, we are hoping to have or to be in the top 25 from 58 back in 2018 from 137 countries. So for the Global Competitive Index, we are hoping to be top 15, which currently we are 25. And also for the World Bank doing businesses, we are hoping to be at the top 10 level, which currently we are the number of 15 from 190 countries. Yeah? And the last one is the Global Innovation Index, and we are hoping to be at the top 20 out of 140 countries. Okay, next. All right, for the national macro targets, okay, so we hope that the SME's contribution to GDP will increase from 38.3% to 50% by the year 2030. And employability, of course, offered by the SMEs will also increase from 66.2% to 80%. SMEs' contribution to total export value will increase from 17.3% to 30%. And also cooperative turnover will also increase from 40.3 billion to 60 billion. All right, next.
Udin. Din.
All right, so if we can see here that we have done with the Vision 2020, as we all know, by the former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir, and also we have done with the 11th Malaysian Plan, where in this plan basically we have incorporated 6 strategies in helping out the SMEs. And we are moving forward to the 12th Malaysian Plan, which was tabled at the Parliament last month in March. And however, the information was not is not being disclosed yet, so I'm unable to get those information about the SMEs part in terms of the strategies strategized by the government in helping the SMEs. So basically, the 12th Malaysian Plan encompass 3 dimensions, namely the economic empowerment, environmental sustainability, and also social re-engineering. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you. Next slide. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Norziaton Ismail, for the sharing and the presentation. If I can conclude that, I think SMEs are the backbone of the economy. I think in Malaysia and Indonesia, same as
I think yes.
same. I agree with that. Okay, and in Malaysia there is 5 objective and 6 strategic, to normalize economic, and 5 objective is creating entrepreneurship ecosystem. Second is entrepreneurial mindset and culture, and then quality, viable, resilient, competitive entrepreneur. 4 is scale up SMEs, and the last is preferred what is it? Choice, correct choice, a career choice to make entrepreneurship. Yeah, okay, this 5 objective and 6 strategic. Give applause to Ms. Norziaton.
Thank you.
If we met in in offline, we can give an applause. Yes, but
yeah,
we are online. Okay, applause. Okay, we going to second speaker.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
I will introduce to all of you. He is Mr. Professor Yong-Rok Choi. He is distinguished Inha Fellow Research Professor. Yeah, he come from Seoul, Korea, from Department of International Trade, Inha University. Yeah, and education. He's graduated at Seoul City University, and graduated at University of Cincinnati, USA, for Ph.D. in economics. He's interesting about sustainable economic and business, and global business and international logistics. Okay. For Mr. Professor Yong-Rok Choi, time is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Before I begin my lectures, first of all, I really appreciate this honorable opportunity by Alma Ata University, especially the lecturer and many friends of there. I really appreciate. Actually, just before the pandemic era, I visited the one conference in Bali, Indonesia. I never forget so great memory there. I visited the Garuda of the temple of the Garuda, and then I have activity in seaside, snorkeling, those kind of things. It is really unforgettable memory of Indonesia for me. And this is the second time to meet all my friends in the Indonesia. And my philosophy is always once a friend, forever friend. So even if this is first time, I want you to be all of you my friend to open our future together. Okay? Can I share my PPT by myself here in Korea from my notebook?
Okay, can yes, please.
Oh, where is it? No. Just a minute. Something wrong. Oh, here it is. Something wrong. Okay, hope to everybody see this PPT.
Yes.
Okay, today I do not want to emphasize of the small definition of the SME or the SME policy of the Korea. Instead, as a professor, always we are pleased to point out what's the problem in the national policy of the Korea on the SME and then how to fix it. Okay, that will be my lecture, Challenges for Small and Medium Enterprise of Korea under Pandemic Era. The content list will be based on background of policy on the SME of Korea, current status of Korean SME, pandemic effect on the SME, and then the problem, why we have a problem, lack of governance of the policies on SMEs, and then finally, for the future, I want to make some suggestions. Okay, first in the world, and the only policy of the Korean government for the small and medium enterprises is we set up the Ministry of SME and Startup, MSS, in 2017. And this ministry is only for supporting the SME because our Korean economic structure is totally different from other countries, especially, the many times the Korean economy is compared with the Taiwanese economy. And the most important, the outstanding difference between Taiwan and Korea, Korea is, the economic structure of Korea is led by, the sum of small global companies such as Samsung, Hyundai Car, or LG. I think most of the people heard about this name because these are the leading company for Korean economic activities. And because of these large companies to lead the economic activities, there are many small enterprises just supporting these large companies. That's totally different from Taiwan. The Taiwan economy is based on the small and medium economy. So the basic activities happens based on these small and medium economies. So it's a totally different approach. How we promote our economic growth in Korea, the large company to promote, and then based on this large companies' activities, there are many small and medium companies to support as a kind of outsourcing company or strategic alliances of this leading company. So the Korean government began to think about this kind of economic structure is not sustainable. That's the reason Korean government created new ministry for SMEs. The three policies gives us the paradigm for Korean government to see the SME. The first mission of the SMEs, the Ministry of the SME is promoting business growth. We want to find out hidden champion, not just large companies such as Samsung or LG. Some small companies in Korea can be, the hidden champion in global market. So Korean government wants to, cultivate these small hidden champions. We say the startup MSS. Okay. And the second mission of the Korean government is fostering business startups, because most of the small and medium companies are connected with large companies. So it's good for the initial stage because of support of the large company. But soon they feel the limits of growth because this large company to handle everything about the small companies. So they want, the Korean government wants, they want to make the new way for small companies to open their own business. So that's the second mission, fostering business startup. Third one is the supporting micro enterprise. Most of the small businesses, they do not know much information compared with the government official or the large companies. So third mission of the Korean government is to provide one-stop service for these SMEs, how they get the fund from the government, how they open the market in the global market, those kind of things. So these three missions for the Korean government, the Ministry of the SMEs, are very important to understand the future of Korean SMEs. Okay, based on these three policy paradigm on SMEs, Korean economy has a very diverse activities by the SMEs. As you can clearly see here, number of enterprises from SME take 99%, 99.9%, almost 100%. So 0.1% of the Korean economic activity of the enterprises deals with more than 60% of the value added value, as you can see here. So the small, very, very small number of the companies such as Samsung or Hyundai Car handles everything. 99% of the company just support their activity. That's really sad story because it is not sustainable. If we have some problem in large companies such as Samsung or LG, or other small and medium companies will collapse down. That's already happened in this pandemic era. So we should think about how we're gonna handle these issues. Two bipolarization, large company handle everything. 99% of company cannot have any voice to the government. That's the problem. And also SMEs, even if they're the value added, the activities, value added, the portion of the economy is lower, their employment still is 83%. So most of the people works in the small and medium company, but still their value added activity is really lower. So we should solve this, bipolarization between the leading large company and small company. How about their employment status? As you can clearly see, if you see the more in detail, most of the employees are employed in micro enterprise, like small shop, small restaurant, or the service area. And medium and sized enterprise is 19%. That's the problem. We do not have the medium. Medium is a very important trunk of the economic structure. The very small group of the large company to handle almost everything, and the 19% of medium size of company cannot grow further because there are many invisible, let's say the glass ceiling. They cannot go upper floor, large company, because the Korean government has too much regulation. So this medium company do not want to grow to the large company. That's the problem. And small companies cannot enter to the medium level, because if they enter the medium level, the large companies who has the outsourcing contract with the small companies hate this one. They cannot grow. That's the problem. So how are we gonna have this kind of the level by level ceiling of the companies? That's the big problem of the Korean government. Based on this one, As I said, during the pandemic era, we did have so much problems. So in order to see this problem, we want to see the basic backbone of the Korean government policy on SMEs. As I said, in 2017, Korean government changed the leveled up the government agency from their small the administration agency for the SMEs to the ministry level. So this is the first and the only country in the world to support the small and medium the companies in terms of the ministry level, which is separated from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It's the regular, every country, most of the country has this Ministry of Commerce and this industry, but Korean government separated from this SISMIMCE from them to the Ministry of SME. The reason is very simple. The Korean government wants to foster and support and promote SMEs. And because of this new ministry, they developed more than 1,700 projects. It's almost, I cannot, introduce everything. There are too many detailed or customized projects to support small business or the startup or the medium enterprises. And the budget is hugely, huge amount of budget went there. During 3 years from 2017 to last year, the budget to support the SME increased 57%. It's a huge amount of money went there. But unfortunately, most of SMEs do not feel any warm temperature from the government. They do not think they are supported by the government. They do not get any money from the government. So I'm saying where this money goes, what kind of project they did. Nonetheless, there are huge crises. There is the missing link in these policies, especially during the pandemic era. Okay. As you can see, from the December of 19, it was compared with the previous year, the SME production level is positive. It was increased, but just from the 20 January, as you can clearly see, most of the companies are losing their production level compared with the previous year. In the January, there is a minus 10% decrease in the production of the SMEs. It means many companies have to suffer because of this pandemic era. And the February, Korean government had a great, budget allowance. Every Korean people should get the $22,500 from the government. Using this money for every household with the poor people get the $10,000 from the government. Using this money, they can spend, and then it gives a little bit hit that was happening in February and September and last year December. So whenever the Korean government has a very urgent money to the market, it was responded by the market, but it was very short period. Soon, the effect of this kind of fund money is gone, and then seriously, it becomes more serious. The small and SMEs have to suffer because of the basic problem did not solve yet. Huge unemployment voluntarily or compulsorily happen. Because the many large companies have to cut their export to the international market, because the Korean government is export-led economy. If the company, especially the large company like a Samsung or LG or Hyundai Car, if they do not export, if their export volume is decreased because of the pandemic era, then most of all small businesses must cut their production as well. So many small companies should go to bankruptcy because of this cut the decrease in the export of the large company. Why these kind of things why these kind of things happen? Because Korean economic structure, as I said, is a kind of water lily type. You know, water lily. If you see the water, there's the lily. This lily, water lily, has some connection. If you see the the inside in the bottom side of the pond, the water. All the water lily has a root, and this root has many the connection. So the large company should supported by many small companies. So we call that is lily type of economic structure of the Korean economy. It's a very unique. Like Japan, Korea is led by some small leading companies, and many small SMEs are interconnected with these large companies, as I said. So because of the decrease in the large company export, many small companies must reduce their product level, and it gives them voluntary unemployment. And also there is a compulsory unemployment, even if they want increase the employment and their production level. Because of the pandemic era, what happened? Most of the small SMEs are supported by the workers and laborers from foreign countries, especially from developing countries, such as Central Asia and the Asian countries especially. And because of the pandemic era, there are no more incoming workers from foreign country, and many foreign country workers in Korea should go back to their country. So the small and medium countries workers, they cannot find the good workers any longer. So they must reduce their unemployed, and they must reduce their production level. So this kind of two things. One thing from the large company reduction, another reason, the source of the workers cannot be available, so their sales volume is decreased. Sales loss is 60%, and the workers is more than almost 1 billion workers are fired during just 1 year. It is a huge amount of the unemployed loss. How these kind of things happen? Because inappropriate signal by the Korean government, as well as some, the reluctance of the Korean SMEs to adjust themselves has this kind of problems. So I can say in one word, lack of governance made this kind of disaster happen. Okay, how should we do? As you can see here, if the Korean government give the money to the SME to overcome the pandemic, over the COVID, what they want to do, more than 55% of the company wants to spend the money for their temporary management problems. I'm sorry, this is Korean language, but you see the 55. Let's go to the daily management expenses. Only 15% will go to infrastructure, at the new infrastructure, and 18% for R&D. So about 30% of money, if the Korean government give the money, then 30% will go to the additional investment, and 55% will be used for daily expenses. That's the problem. The SMEs do not focus on their future. They do not have the long-term plan on R&D or infrastructure addition. Especially, from the next month, in the January, this survey was done in January. What will be happen in the next the second quarter of the 2020 this year? They said the most important thing is they will reduce a lot of the unemployment. So there will be huge amount of fired people. So they expect they will reduce more people, because now the pandemic era will give them more pressure. Why they want to fire the people? Very simple. We want to see that reason here. Oops. the current administration, President Moon Jae-in, he has a very strong philosophy. He wants to support the poor people. And because of that, he made the Ministry of SME, and he also made, the very important signal. As you can see here, during these 3 years, the minimum work rate is increased 32%. Is it possible? In the world, the Korea is the only country who increased the minimum work rate 32%. And actually, the Korea was the lowest in the OECD for their work rate. Now it's a 6th rank. In terms of the minimum work wage rate, Korea is top country, higher than UK. So in order to support poor people, Korean government increased the minimum work wage. What happened? Many SMEs, they cannot hire any longer because the minimum work wage give them additional burden. They do not make a lot of money, but they must spend. They are employed. So what happened? There is huge, the pressure, the inflation, and many SMEs must fire their workers, and they must work more. There is more self-employed restaurants instead of employed people. Do you know what I mean? This is terrible. And then, so, the Korean government has a wrong direction to support the poor people or to support SMEs. Most of the SMEs, they cannot survive with this highly increased work rate. And then second one, similarly, Corona divide. Korean government put a lot of money, and where this money goes? Most of the money go to the well-prepared paper company. And more than majority of the SMEs do not feel any support because rapidly increasing real asset price go to the things, because the COVID era, without any, the sales increase, they must pay the money to the shop owner or the company factory owner. The rent is a fixed, but sales volume is not fixed. So the government supporting money should go to not businessman, but the building owner. So there is a money goes to someplace else, and the many zombie company we call in Korea zombie company. Zombie company means, frankly, they must got bankruptcy, but because of the support by the Korean government, they are still spending a lot of money. They cannot support the operational cost. So it's really funny. The Korean government support this kind of zombie company. So many sound SMEs cannot get good support because of this, Corona divide. Many companies got richer and richer, especially for export-oriented companies like Samsung and LG. Or those companies are good, very good. They do well. Most of the majority of exports, more than 60% of the export volume is supported by the less than 10 companies. So all Korean companies is supported by the large company, and most of the small companies, they do not participate they do not enjoy any benefit from this export. All the large company must squeeze down their profit, and then every year their outsourcing company should reduce their price. How they can? So they cannot survive. So this Corona divide made a great problem in SMEs. Especially the third one is political paradigm on SMEs. The Korean government consider the businessman as a criminal, looks like. So there is too much strong regulation. So too harsh regulatory regime made SMEs cannot innovate, reduce. They cannot, change their things because the government officials say if there is no previous example, they cannot allow this new business, the activity. So there's many things. It's a positive system. If there's a previous example, they will allow. If there is no previous example, they will not allow. So many SMEs, they always complain the Korean government do not support them because of this positive system. And 빨리빨리 system in Korea. Everybody know 빨리빨리, hurry, hurry. So the Korean government do not have the responsibility. That's the problem. The moral hazard happen. Okay. Sorry, maybe I am out of time. So maybe I should quickly finalize. So what we should do, the Korean government should change their paradigm from positive system to negative system. You cannot do ABC and every other things you can do. That is very important. That's the Chinese way, and Korean government should do that way. Okay, and then government should not be a helper. Government should be a partner to share the responsibility with the SMEs. Okay, COVID does not end soon. It may recur again. So final tuning is necessary. No more government-led economy. Let government should listen the voice from market, and then make more strong friendship with SME. They need 关系, strong relationship with government. So government should think SME are not enemy. They are not criminal. They are friend. They are partner for our future. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Choi. I'm so sorry, Q&A maybe at the end of the session, okay? At the beginning, I wonder why the Korea lack of policies. You say what lily, water lily, economic system, right? Economic structure.
Yeah, economic system. As you know, there is one water lily flower. Beneath of the water lily, there are many roots, okay, with many small roots. So there are large company as a water lily flower. Under the water lily, there are many small company are connected each other with the roots under the water. And this under the water company cannot see, we cannot see. So they are hidden SMEs. So it's a kind of large company-led economy, water lily company, economic structure means.
So, but the end of the presentation, I know why the government is lack of attention to the SMEs because the wrong direction to support minimum wage, and Corona divide, like you say before, a zombie company support by Korean government, and the last is political paradigm. Okay, give the Professor Choi an applause for the presentation of the lecture today, and we going to the third speakers. Okay, I will introduce to all of you. She is Miss Tyagita Dianingtyas Sudibyo. Yeah, she's from Alma University. She is the chief of department management of from Alma University. Basic education. The education is a bachelor program from management study at STIKPN. What in the English is? Yeah, from YKPN. IKPN. And master program from Master of Management at Sanata Dharma University, Indonesia. Okay. To Mrs. Tyagita Dianingtyas, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ageng.
You need some help?
No.
No, okay.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning. Best wishes for all of us. Okay. We are now until now. We are still in a COVID-19 pandemic situation. And then even though government around the world are aggressively giving vaccination to their citizens, this has not been able to significantly tackle the spread of COVID-19 virus. So, I still has a hard impact on the world economy, especially for Indonesian state. Indonesian government doesn't remain silent with this condition. Various kind of policies were issued to save small medium enterprise from bankrupt. So why does it have to be small medium enterprises? Yeah, because small medium enterprises are the spearhead of economy in Indonesia. This can be seen from economic crisis that occurred in 1998, where small medium enterprises contribute 16% to the gross domestic income. This contribution is greater than the contribution made by large-scale enterprises. Gross domestic income is the quantity of product and services that can be produced in a certain time. In addition, small medium enterprises have created 120 million jobs. This will greatly reduce unemployment rate where some large-scale employers make savings, laying off part of their employees. This slide about impact of COVID-19 pandemic. The first, turnover of small medium enterprises according to 13% due to difficulty in capitally led production. Decreased sell or demand. Good trader and buyers have discrete. When turnover discrete, it will also have an impact on the smooth payment of credit for small enterprises, small medium enterprises. And second, most purchases are made online due to social restriction and on activities the create potential clause. However, as many as 640 million small medium enterprises in Indonesia. Only 16% are able to market their product digitally through the e-commerce. The digitalization of small medium enterprises must be encouraged. Using of the internet and technology is one way for business actors to maintain and even increase revenue. You can see the slide. This slide, see the graphic. There are something about small medium enterprises need for existing in the COVID-19 pandemic. The first, based on the result of the survey, .2% of small medium enterprise actor need capital startup assistance. And second, then the second need is 41.18% literally electric bills. Third, Fabian's loan payment of 29.98%. And then 70.21% of the fourth need is easy loan application. And the last need of UMKM is Abian stack payment of 50.7%. Okay.
Kalau ngeprint foto selfie. Jadi kan katanya cuma satu orang. Kan yang paling muda, yang paling lama di sini. Dan nggak ganti-ganti nanti datamu aja. Kan paling bentar lagi bisa dia.
Okay. Sorry. So, rescue for Indonesia economy can be done through the National Economy Recovery Program, or we can call it with PEN, PEN. Government regulation number 23/2020 concerning implementation of National Economy Recovery Program in framework of supporting state financial policies for handling the COVID-19 pandemic and or facing threat that endanger the national economy and or financial system stability and national economic rescue. And then number one, state equity participation. Second, placement of fund, and then third, government investment, and the last, warranty program. Seeing how great small medium enterprises have had an impact on the Indonesian economy. As well as responding to some needs of small medium enterprises to be exposed remaining. The government issue some policies. Outline of some government policies during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, we next to community business credit. We can call it with kredit usaha rakyat or KUR. Yes. KUR have an interest subsidy. It's valid for 3 months until 6 months for a credit amount up to 10 billion rupiah. The amount of subsidy from small 20% to the large 25%. And then for a total of financing of more than 5 million rupiah to 10 billion rupiah, obtaining 20% interest subsidy for 3 months. Well, total of financing more than 10 million to 5 million will get 3% interest subsidy for 3 months. Okay, and then the next more performance subsidies is for small medium enterprise user with a total of financing up to 10 million rupiah will get 25% interest subsidy for 6 months. And the next, in addition, there is 3-month installment payer suspension. For 3 months, there were no billing or interest. The government has also launched various kinds of social assistance, such as cash assistance of 2.4 million rupiah on 2019 and 1.2 million on 2021. And then pre-employment cards, or we call it with kartu prakerja, to increase the consumption or purchasing power of the Indonesian people. This will impact on the gross domestic impact. Next, policy related to vaccination. Medium small enterprises are one of the main clients who are prioritas to get vaccination from the government. The last, about government policy to small medium enterprises. The last policy related to tax. For the final PPH was nullified to help the existence of small medium enterprises, as well as PPH 21, which will be borne by the government for industry. And then in PPH 22 about import, which is also suspended for 6 months. Thank you. Mr. Aga?
Okay, thank you, Miss Dian, for the presentation. Give us the new insight about Indonesian government policy in to stimulating SMEs, especially. As we know, the SMEs has got the biggest impact. I think the biggest impact. Micro enterprise has broke down in the pandemic. So sad. But it's okay. Okay. To the next agenda. Okay. Before I go to the fourth presenter, I invite to the all participants, please fill the link for presence list that has been shared by the committee at the chat. Yeah. Okay. We're going to the fourth speaker. His name is Febrian Wahyu Wibowo. Yeah. The education is for the bachelor degree. CS at Islamic State University Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. The major is Islamic banking, and then the magister at State University Sunan Kalijaga too, at Magister of Economics. And then now he has a lecture at Syariah Economic program at Alma University. For Mr. Febrian Wahyu Wibowo, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ageng. My voice is clear?
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Honorable Juan Professor Dr. Hamhadi MS SCD SPGK, the Headmaster or Rector Universitas Alma-Ata, the Honorable all speaker in this international webinar, Mr. Professor Choi Yong-Rok. Nice to meet you, Mr. from Inha University, Korea, and Mrs. Ashok, Professor Norziaton. Norziaton Ismail Khan, Ph.D. from Mara University of Teknologi, Malaysia, and Mrs. Tyagita, MM from Alma University. and unforgettable to all the participants who are happy. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, assalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Qala rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli, amma ba'du. Firstly of all, let's thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa taala who always give health, blessing and salvation for all of us, so that we can to be here without trouble at all. Secondly, my salawat and salam for our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who always give guidance in the world. Thirdly, I will like to say thanks for you, Master of Ceremony, and our moderator, and the all people in here who has given me an opportunity to speak in front of you all. Now, I would like to say about Islamic banking policy in COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, next slide. Okay, now I will show you about our topic today. The one is fact about small business, and the next correlation of small business actor with banking, and the last what policy are carrying out. Okay, next slide, Mr. Ageng. Okay, now this is data from UMKM in Indonesia, SMEs like similar UMKM. I'm so sorry this slide like use Indonesian language. So in here you can look omset per tahun. Jadi sebelum adanya pandemi, ini adalah this data before pandemic era. Jadi sebelum adanya pandemi COVID, perkembangan UMKM atau SMEs begitu sangat tinggi. Bahkan di sini terlihat bahwa dalam per tahun bisa perkembangannya sungguh luar biasa ya, dari segi omsetnya juga Indonesia cukup UMKM di Indonesia perkembangannya cukup baik, sehingga sebagaimana yang dicatatkan Bu Tyagita bahwa perkembangan UMKM menjadi salah satu penyumbang PDB dari setiap daerah di Indonesia gitu. Jadi ini adalah data sebelum adanya data 11 Agustus 2020 gitu ya. Jadi cukup baik perkembangannya sebelum adanya pandemik. Oke. Next slide, Mr. Ageng. In this data, this is jenis dan macam produk usaha yang ada di Indonesia. Jadi pedagang, seller, and food and beverage, service, manufacture of food dan lain sebagainya. Jadi produksi makanan dan industri pengolahan dan sebagainya perkembangannya cukup besar. Jadi di sini terlihat bahwa perkembangannya dikuasai oleh pedagang eceran. Barangkali teman-teman dan rekan-rekan sekalian yang ada di acara pada hari ini, bahwa orang tuanya juga mungkin banyak yang pedagang gitu ya, pedagang di daerahnya, sembako gitu ya, sembako dan pakaian dan sebagainya. Dan juga selain itu food and beverage growth to high, jadi perkembangan penjualan makanan dan minuman di Indonesia is so high, ya, sangat tinggi perkembangannya. Terlebih lagi in Ramadan ya, di bulan Ramadan perkembangannya juga sangat bagus. Selain itu juga jasa perkembangan juga bagus, dan ini semua adalah data sebelum adanya COVID gitu ya. Oke, next Mr. Ageng. Ini this data is after COVID ya. This comparison before and after, before COVID and after COVID. Maybe I call it COVID like Thanos in Marvel ya, Marvel Universe, like Marvel University gitu ya, Marvel Universe Thanos like one snap ya, satu kali centikan saja langsung saja semua usaha-usaha bisnis yang ada di Indonesia langsung musnah gitu ya. Terlihat bahwa dari grafik perkembangannya sebelum adanya pandemi adalah 100% lebih, dan ketika adanya pandemi langsung hancur, musnah. Banyak usaha-usaha yang harus tutup, bangkrut, dan akhirnya banyak dan berdampak pada perekonomian masyarakat secara khususnya dan secara general, yaitu berdampak pada Indonesia. Dan juga I think this condition same in other country in the world, sama, jadi perkembangannya hampir sama di seluruh Indonesia maupun di seluruh dunia gitu ya. Oke, next. Oke, nah ini adalah data dampak pandemi ya, penurunannya lebih dari 30% gitu ya. Penurunan dari dampak pandemi, penurunan omset itu lebih dari 30%, bahkan seperti yang kita ketahui bersama bahwa saat ini juga seluruh elemen masyarakat, seluruh masyarakat yang ada di Indonesia, entah itu bisnis apa saja itu sudah terkena dampaknya, sehingga hal ini menjadikan ya sudah menjadi pemahaman kita bersama bahwa penurunan pendapatan, penurunan kualitas hidup masyarakat Indonesia di masa sekarang ini sungguh sangat memprihatinkan. Dan ini karena memang datanya seperti ini bahwa penurunannya lebih dari 30%. Oke, lanjut. Next slide, Mister. Oke. What is the correlation between small business or people and banking? Okay, small business in here like SMEs. Yes, this correlation, the correlation between banking and small business is like starling and buffalo. In Indonesia ada istilah namanya burung jalak dengan kerbau ya. Mungkin teman-teman yang tahu di Indonesia adanya burung jalak dan kerbau. Where there are a symbiosis of mutualism that needs each other and mutually beneficial. Jadi mereka itu saling membutuhkan gitu ya, saling membutuhkan. Si burung jalak juga makan kutu dari si kerbau, dan juga kerbau juga diuntungkan dengan adanya kutunya hilang gitu, jadi nggak gatel lagi ya. Banking are required small business as a medium for channeling fund. Jadi bank itu membutuhkan usaha kecil untuk menyalurkan dana-dananya. Small business also need banking to get a business up. Bisnis kecil itu membutuhkan modal untuk memulai bisnis kecilnya gitu ya. Oke, next. Okay, Mr. Ageng, or ini maybe like there is noise, yes. Okay, sorry. Okay, so then what policy have been carried out by the government and bank to support and help small business to rise from the situation? Here are of the policy that I have summarized. Now, one is in obtaining social assistance for small business. 98% of business operation are categorized as poor. Jadi di Indonesia sudah mengkategorikan bahwa 98% itu dimasukkan ke kategori miskin ya, karena supaya mendapat bantuan. Jadi pemerintah mengkategorikan usaha kecil itu ke dalam kategori miskin agar itu masuk dalam anggaran negara dan diberikan bantuan. And the next, interest and installment financial to be included in the introductory program with 6-month installment delay. The inability to pay installment, interest, and cash flow is a problem most small business. Jadi pemerintah juga memberikan pemundaan pembayaran ataupun tanggungan-tanggungan yang ada di pebisnis kecil. Sebenarnya bicara tentang pemerintahan juga nggak kurang-kurang ya usaha yang dilakukan pemerintah untuk memaksimalkan dan membantu di kondisi pandemi saat ini gitu. Oke, next. Okay, the next is using people business credit as a small business payment. Erlangga Hartanto as Ministry of the Economic explained that this people business credit and encourage for all sector, but is more focused on building group or cluster-based people business credit because it is more efficiency for economy. Jadi membuat sebuah grup-grup ya, membuat sebuah grup-grup agar semua saling bahu-membahu membantu sehingga bisa terbebas dari kondisi COVID yang terjadi pada saat ini gitu ya. Oke, next. The next policy is encourage government spending by prioritizing MSME or UMKM ya, product. Teten Mas Dugi as Menkop UKM or SMEs said that the Ministry of UKM cooperative collaboration with goods or service prosumment agency atau LKPP, the potential value of the government procurement package for small business sector in 2020 is 321 triliun ya, of the total government produce of plan dari 738 juta. Jadi salah satu jalan keluar dari yang diusulkan dari Teten Mas Duki selaku Menteri UKM adalah memasukkan seluruh produk-produk UMKM sebagai salah satu penyumbang kebutuhan daripada negara. Jadi di negara itu ada anggaran belanja, dan anggaran belanja itu dibelanjakan kepada produk-produk UKM agar pendapatan dari UMKM tetap berjalan dengan baik. Jadi buat teman-teman sekalian, mungkin ada yang orang tuanya merasakan ya, mungkin bahkan merasakan bantuan, merasakan pembelanjaan yang dilakukan oleh pemerintah itu, dan perbankan juga seperti itu gitu. Oke. Next, Mr. Agung. Okay, the next policy is small business are able to develop a variety of ideas, innovation, and adapt to new market. In effect, only 30% and accounting for 8 million small business people who are developing ideas, innovation, and adapting to new market. Oke, jadi hampir banyak UMKM yang dia tidak berinovasi ya, tidak melakukan pembaruan dari bisnisnya, tidak melakukan pembaruan, tidak melakukan inovasi, dan begitu saja, sehingga banyak kelompok-kelompok yang membuat pembelajaran atau education about ideas, innovation for SMEs ya. Jadi membuat edukasi, pembelajaran dan sebagainya guna mendukung dan melakukan upgrade for product, service dan lain sebagainya, sehingga mampu melawan semua kondisi pandemi saat ini. Okay, next, Mister. Okay, this is our conclusion ya. This is maybe a little word for me. And the COVID pandemic is not the end of the world. Jadi pandemi COVID itu bukanlah akhir dari dunia. The COVID pandemic is just a small stone that disrupt the journey a little. Jadi hanya sebuah batu kecil yang mengganggu perjalanan kita, perjalanan dalam hidup. Remove the stone and continue the journey. Lanjutkan. Jadi geser aja batu kecil itu dan lanjutkan perjalanan kita. Small business people cannot continue to wait for help from various parties. Doing their best and doing everything they can to rise from the COVID pandemic is the best way. Understand, evaluate, improve, and do the best, and then we will rise. Okay. Maybe that's all we can say at this international webinar. I apologize if there are many mistakes in what we say and what we convey. Hopefully it's useful. Keep the spirit going and do your the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Febrian. I think COVID-19 has a great impact for Islamic banking, but I know what in Indonesia especially, there are relaxation for debt as Indonesian people. I think it's same as Malaysia. There are relaxation for paying debt. Okay. We enter to the next agenda is Q&A session. If I have the spare time, maybe or the time is okay. Now it's 11:00, right? Okay. In the first session, okay, three questions, please. Okay, there one from Mutia Laili, and then there is a question from YouTube, maybe YouTube. Okay, from
Me.
Who is it?
Mr. Ageng.
Who is
I would like to ask a question. Rido.
Okay, oh, Mr. Rido. Okay, the
Yeah.
first is Miss Mutia Laili, and the second is Mr. Rido, and the one from YouTube. Okay, the first to the Miss Mutia Laili, please give the question. Please introduce yourself, and then the question to the Mr. Choi or Mrs. Nur Nuriza and Norziaton, or Mr. Febrian or Mrs. Tyagita. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Uh,
Okay, thank you so much
please
for
loud your voice.
the change. Are my voice clear
Okay.
or not? Are my voice clear?
Yes.
Clear.
Clear.
Okay, thank you so much for. Okay. This is myself. My name is Laili. I am from Alma University, and good morning for all amazing speakers. And now I would like to ask a question to Professor Choi Yong-Rok from Inha University.
Yeah. Okay. What is the question?
Yeah, I'm waiting you. You can ask a question.
Okay, okay. Good afternoon in Indonesia. Good afternoon, Professor Choi Yong-Rok. 안녕하세요.
Wonderful.
안녕하세요.
Very good.
반갑습니다. 네, 제 이름은 메탈입니다, Prof. Okay, okay. So interesting what you explain. In your presenting. So I'm so interested about the slide about the growth of places on the small medium enterprise of Korea. And the number one and point one is promoting business growth, which is we recognize that growth of enterprise is directly related to national economic growth. Thus, MSS implement various policies aimed promoting the growth of enterprise at all stages of development, from startup to small medium enterprise, from medium enterprise to global enterprise or hidden from champion. So my question is how to South Korean government promoting business growth, which is that an important point to do to increase small medium enterprise during this pandemic, because this pandemic so give an more so much impact to small medium enterprise. That's my first question. And I have my second question. This is second question. I would like to ask him to Professor Choi Yong-Rok and Professor for Professor Norziaton too. My question is, are startups in Malaysia and Korea enough to help scale up small medium enterprise, and what sector do the most for startup in Malaysia and in Korea? Okay, that's my question. Thank you so much for attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Mutia Laili, for the question. And the second is from Mr. Rido. Time is yours.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Agam. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rido Satria Rahab, and I'm from University Almata, Almata University. And I would like to ask some question to Professor Choi. So, good morning, Professor Choi. As I heard before from your presentation, correct me if I'm not, if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. You mentioned before that foreign labor are now prohibited to enter Korean market, right? Foreign labor are now prohibited to enter Korean market, and also existing foreign labor shall go back home, right? Now, but on the contrary, as you mentioned before, minimum wage is increased by the government regulation. Minimum wage is increased by the regulation. So there are contrary on these things. So my question is there any movement from the SMEs community or SMEs association towards this regulation? Because this has become a new problem to them. Like you mentioned before, SMEs employees should be fired, and a lot of SMEs now are self-employed because they cannot pay the wage of their employee. And then my second question is why it looks like the government doesn't really support the SMS by these rules, by this regulation. What is their agenda actually? Okay, thank you, Mr. Choi.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rido, for the question. And the third question is from YouTube. Okay. This question to Mr. Norziaton and to Professor Choi. So Mrs. Norziaton is, why SMEs mobilization in Malaysia only concentrated in Selangor and Putrajaya? Okay. And then the second is, I think it's for Mrs. Norziaton and Professor Choi. What is the advantage of government policies during COVID-19 in Malaysia and Korea related with SMEs? Okay, this is the question. I think it's 4 questions, not 3 questions. Okay, it's okay. The first is Mr. Choi. Time is yours to answer the question.
Yep. First of all, I really appreciate the very aggressive attitude of the audience. They had a really strong interest on my presentation, and I really appreciate that. For Mutia question, she asked 2 questions. First, what is how the Korean government support the small and medium SMEs? Okay, there are many ways, but in most of cases, in Korean government cannot support SMEs directly. Do you know what I mean? Korean government cannot give the money directly to the small SMEs. So they created the middlemen, many matchmakers, many the intermediaries, such as the administration agency of the SMEs or the startup promotion agencies. There are many institutions, and as you asked the second question, more than 80% of the additional budget for the emergency during the COVID went to these agencies to support SMEs. So there are huge, more than $0.8 billion went to SMEs through these agencies. Okay, some of them took a kind of credit without any, the responsibility. If you apply, then the government will give you some credit to borrow the money from bank without any, any other things. Okay, or sometimes it's a free money. They can give you up to $3,000 for your loss of the sales. Likewise, there are many ways, but those many go through the agency. The problem is agency. They are what? They are a kind of moral hazard. They do not listen to the market voice. They just listen the voice from the government. So they do not handle very well about how to support SMEs. That's the problem. Okay, these middlemen are a kind of semi-government officials. They do not have any responsibility to support the people, to support SMEs. That's the big problem. So when the government supports the money going in this indirect way, I strongly suggest to Indonesian government should have some criteria for performance-oriented government of the policy. For example, if one middleman do better than others, then government should support more fund to handle. You understand? So based on their performance-oriented one, the government should check whether the money really go to the company more sustainable way to increase more profit, more productive, more product, those kind of things. Hope you to understand. For first question. The second, second question from Lido. You said if the company cannot hire the foreign workers, how should we do? Well, foreign workers also get the minimum work wage rate. So many people from developing country has some Korean dream. If they work hard, they'll get more than, let's say, the $20,000 per month. So it's a big money for them. So I think they can come, and there's no regulation, especially for SMEs. Even if the $20,000 is big money, most of the SMEs cannot allow more than that. That's the reason they go to self-employed way. But you know, some small like the mechanical production company, they are production, manufacturing oriented, so they need some workers compulsory. You know, those workers doesn't come from Korean people. That's a problem. You know, young generation, they do not want to work hard. They do not want to choose dirty, dangerous, and difficult activity. We call 3D. These dirty, difficult, dangerous jobs will go to foreign workers, especially in the agriculture area. The farmers, even they cannot pay the money, but without the foreign workers, they cannot put the seed on the land. That's a big problem, you know. Anyway, because of this, the SME have two problems. They are short of the workers, but they do not pay. They cannot pay. That's a big problem at this moment. So if the government support, like, if hire additional workers, regardless of nationality, government will support some portion. Because of that, they can do temporarily. That's the one way to handle the workers, foreign workers. The Korean government, why they cannot prepare the equitable support for SMEs? It's really difficult, as I said. First of all, SME do not have the good access about the information. They do not know exactly what kind of money they are available, especially for Indonesia or the country. SME have two problems. First, money. Second, market. They can produce, but nobody wants to buy their product. That's the problem. They must find out a good market. So the government should give some good facilitator role to create the market for these SMEs. The second, the money, finance. There are many money available, but they do not know. Even if they know, they have a difficulty to make a proposal, paperwork. So the government should give much lower. They ask too much things, which is not directly related with business. You know what I mean? So let them make more easier access for fund. Let them have a good access to the new market. That is a very important lessons from Korea to learn by Indonesian SMEs. Thank you for your questions. I hope it answers your question, both of you.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Kamsahamnida.
Terima kasih.
Okay. Sama-sama, Prof. Okay, thank you, Prof. Choi. And the second to Dr. Norziaton Ismail.
Yeah, if I got the question right, the question asking about the initiative done by the government, is it enough to sustain the SMEs? Am I right? That is the question, because the line was not that clear.
Yeah.
Betul, yeah? All right. Okay,
Ya,
so
betul betul.
basically looking at my presentation, I think so the government has done a lot, especially focusing too much on the B40s category. Yeah? So when you talk about B40s, majority of or 40% of the government of the Malaysian citizen belongs to the lower level income earners, and I believe so that with this penjana and also the pre-hearting stimulus that the government has already initiated, coupled with the Bank Negara support by the Bank Negara, I think so is more than enough for the SMEs basically to sustain. However, due to the pandemic, as we all know that it has hit not only Malaysia but all over the world. So for us to believe that they can sustain is a bit difficult, but however, the initiative done by the government, I think so, is more than enough in helping out the people of SMEs, especially the micro entrepreneurs. All right, so you know that micro entrepreneurs, they are all small scale businesses, but however, initiated by the government to help them in that sense. Okay, that is from Miss Mutia, if I'm mistaken, right? Okay, the other question is why SME in Malaysia concentrated in Selangor and Kuala Lumpur actually, not Putrajaya, because Putrajaya is considered, is still within Wilayah Persekutuan, but previously it was in Selangor. So when the previous government removed that, the territorial, because that is the landmark of the government departments, the government ministries. If you have been to Malaysia, Prof, you will see that the Putrajaya, basically they have all the ministries in Putrajaya. But however, the question asked about the concentration, why in Selangor? Selangor is one of the states that is largest state in Malaysia. So the population is more compared to other states, and it considered as industrial state at the same time. So, and we have all these small entrepreneurs having all these, we can say like perkampungan atau kata hometown type of businesses, small entrepreneurs where they sell all these keropok krepiks and all that, the small crackers, So these are the micro entrepreneurs that most of it reside in Selangor and also in KL. Why is it in KL? Because KL is the heart of Malaysia. So most of the people from other states, basically from other states, they like to reside in KL and also Selangor because of employability. So they know that they can produce their product and there are markets there compared to other states, which is not that not to say that not accessible, but the demand is not there. So in order for the demand for their products, for the micro and SMEs and all that, so they will reside more to a state where it is more population and the demand is there. All right. So the third question, actually, if I'm not mistaken, is about the government initiative towards SMEs. If I'm correct on that question, betul ya?
The advantage of government policies.
Okay, the advantage of government policies, sorry. Okay, so what are the advantage of government policies? Okay, here we can see that these are all being done previously. If you look at the Vision 2020 by the former Prime Minister, Dr. Mahathir, all right, so where he has established Vision 2020 and with all the policies in not only for the whole, of course for the whole country, but there are certain part of the policies or the strategies focusing on the SMEs. Same goes with the 11 Malaysian Plan, where we have, last year was the end of 11 Malaysian Plan, where we have 6 strategies basically focusing on the SMEs, all right? So, and because we aware that SMEs is part of the Malaysian economy, the backbone of the Malaysian economy, all right? So the government has spent and allocated billions of monies basically to help out these people so that they will not go into bankruptcy. And of course, they will try to make sure that they remain sustained as a business. And if you look at the moving forward, where we anticipated that we have more employability, basically. So why what is the advantage? Basically, is, we are developing countries. We want to move into a developed nation, so we must have a lower percentage of B40 categories. So with income per capita is different. So due to that, we're trying our level best of social mobility. Meaning here is to uplift their social mobility from B40 to M40, so they will have a better living, better money to spend. You see, compared to now, we are still subsidizing monies to these people. So I'm not sure until when it will end, because subsidizing money, basically there are pros and cons, but the work part will be they are so complacent. So when they are so complacent, they would not put any effort, okay, because they know that the government is there to help. All right, so that is for my views, from my perspective. So I do believe that the initiative done by the government is more than enough. It's overwhelming, but we are really hoping that the SMEs will take that opportunity to remain sustained and at least give back to the government economy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Dr. Norziaton, for the answers. Okay, I will open a second session, but please make it short and clear. Okay, and just briefly. Okay, there is 3 people, but I'm only give to Mr. Marsuki and Mrs. Yunita and Mr. Dimas. I apologize, because the time is very limited. Okay, so Mr. Marsuki, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Aken. Let me introduce myself to all. My name is Marsuki. I can give from accounting department, Prof. Yong-Rok Korea and Norziaton Ismail Khan Ph.D. How a government policy from Malaysia or Korea about tax policy to small medium enterprise in the first pandemic.
Can you please repeat the question? It's kind of breaking up. I can't really hear. Thank you.
Repeat once more, Mr. Masud.
Okay, once more. How government policy from Malaysia or Korea about tax policy to
tax policy. Okay.
Yes, tax policy, small business or SMEs in the pandemics.
Tax policies, right? Okay. To the SMEs. Okay, thank you, Mr. Marsuki. Yeah, and the second to Mrs. Yunita, I think. Yeah, Mrs. Yunita, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum, Prof. Nur. Please let me ask you a question. My name is Yunita, and as I have a keen interest in gender, especially women and entrepreneurship, it's really interesting if in Malaysia, there is 20.6% of SMEs are women owned. It's quite a lot. Do you think, in your opinion, do you think that it has a relationship with Malaysia as a country with majority of Muslim people? Thank you so much, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Yunita, for the question. And the last is from YouTube, I think. To Dr. Norziaton again. How does Malaysian government to establish cooperation with other countries in support of achievement of SMEs. Oh yeah. How does Malaysian government establish cooperation with other countries in support of the achievement of SMEs? Okay. The first step, I think, give to Dr. Norziaton to answer the question.
All right. Thank you for those who have asked questions. If I'm not mistaken, okay, the first question was on the performance of SME during the pandemic. Is it? Is that true?
Especially at tax policy. Tax policy.
Tax policy.
Yeah.
Or tax policy.
SME, tax policy.
Okay, all right. I'm so sorry about that because the line was not that clear. Okay, when you talk about tax policy, basically, based on my slides, if you are aware that we have these tax relief, okay, by this by the government, all right, looking into the hold on, yeah. Okay, looking into the situation so that the tax, in a tax perspective, if I'm not mistaken, that they have they have levied some of the tax, for example, the kita panggil cukai pintu for the business, that sort of tax yang they have already levied for these people. And of course, it depends on the business. Okay, so in that sense, you will see that if business is not gaining, there's no profits. So definitely there's no corporate tax, no tax will be imposed to these SMEs in Malaysia. So based on that, I'm not a tax expert, but however, I do believe that government has some tax relief on certain things on the SMEs. Of course, the micros, they are not in a position to pay so much tax because their businesses is so little in that sense. But maybe the tax will be imposed to the medium size or maybe small size, which can generate income that they are falls under the category of tax payable. Okay, second question is the gender. Okay, why do you think that there's a relationship? Is it because of majority Muslim people? So, outrightly, okay, if you can see that the small businesses are more inclined by the female women compared to men, yeah. So basically, men would like to work in office. So they will they are not inclined into small businesses, and you will see that all these small businesses will be tackled or will be handled by the female. To me, it doesn't relate whether it is Muslim or not, because we also have entrepreneurs which are non-women from the Chinese community, and they are very successful. All right, so it doesn't. I don't think so. There's a relationship that majority citizens are Muslim, so therefore the gender mostly inclined based on female compared to male. I don't see that relationship outrightly. Okay, and so how does Malaysia in cooperation with other countries? So as you can see that now we are trying actually to promote our product globally. You see, so we are also looking into other avenues. And if you look at our initiatives done by the government in terms of promoting internalization and globalization, so in order for these organizations, basically, or the businesses to have a relationship with other countries, so you will see they need to have some digitalization and also in terms of technology advancement. So this is what we are trying to promote actually to the SMEs, to have business internalization. So we also, based on my readings and my understanding, that some of the SMEs, they do market their product to countries such as in Middle East, yeah, or maybe some of it in even in UK and US, but even in a small quantity at first. But they are slowly growing because they are SMEs. So in terms of cooperatives, definitely we have an understanding with other countries in terms of promoting and also exporting our product. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Norziaton. And I move to Professor Choi about tax policies. Okay, time is yours, Professor Choi. I'm sorry, Professor Choi, you are mute.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks for me to answer that. Professor Norziaton gave already the good answer, because the SME even in Korea, because they do not produce much, they did not sell much, their tax should be much lower under the COVID era. And so without increase of sales, you don't need to pay more. Sometimes if you are lost, then certainly you will pay nothing. But the interesting thing in Korea, many SMEs must pay rent unless they own the house or own the restaurant or those kind of service area. So the rent did not affected by the COVID. They must pay. In that case, the restaurant owner or service, the space owner may reduce their rent. In that case, some portion, like a 20%, the 20% of the reduced amount will get the tax advantage for the shop owner. You know what I mean? It's a win-win game. When the building owner will reduce the rent, and then the SME will pay less, and then building owner will pay less tax to the government. So it's a win-win game for everybody. It's a good example. During the COVID era, if we do not do anything, then some people will get much more money or the same money. Some people will lose a lot. So let them, have some check and balance each other. So government made this kind of win-win game project. So if you do propose any idea about tax policy, then if it's okay, then certainly government will adapt to this policy. These days, this kind of citizen proposal is very popular in Korea. I think it makes the answers.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Choi, for the answer. I'm very sorry because our time is very limited. I apologize for the question that cannot be asked now. Today, or can be asked later on another chance. Gitu ya. Okay, this is I ask to the speaker give to us closing statement. Okay, I think first is Professor Choi. I ask you to give a closing statement to us. I'm sorry, Professor, you still mute.
Okay, as I said in the beginning, I really appreciate this honorable opportunity to share the idea with the Indonesian people. And especially, I really have an unforgettable memory about the Temple of Garuda and snorkeling in Bali with the many, the fantastic food there. It was really, really, really unforgettable memory. I really wanted to share again. As I said, once a friend, forever friend. So next time, whenever you have any question, especially for the the publication of the paper in the high level of journal or the conference or the exchange of program, whatever you want, then if you just remember my name and my email address, I'm always wants to work with you. I just want to say, I really appreciate a student who asks a question. Whenever you have the opportunity, don't say no. Just go right away, because it will be your future. If you open your mouth, if you open your mind, then certainly we can open our future together. Thanks for everything. See you again, hopefully.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Choi. Okay, and the second closing statement, I ask to Dr. Norziaton. Time is yours, Doctor.
Yeah, I totally agree with Prof. Choi. All right, that students need to take this opportunity, yeah, for you to move forward, for you to have a better future ahead. Right, so we have to be more brave, and we have to brave through all those obstacles that we have, even though during pandemic. And I know that doing lectures during online is not that easy. It's a difficult task, right? But however, we really hope that the pandemic will be over soon as possible, right? And the situation in Malaysia is like hiking up back again. We have like 2,000 over cases on daily basis, and we also have some schools which already closed due to the pandemic. So we really hope that we can get over it. And of course, Prof. Choi, maybe you can come over to Malaysia. Once you visit Indonesia, we are neighbors.
Thanks a lot. I didn't go to the Malaysia yet.
So that's all from me. Thank you very much, University Alma Ata, for inviting us, to be the sharing session. Most of it, we call it a sharing session, just to share our experience, maybe our knowledge that we have, not much, but it's just that I really hope that it will benefit all the students and all the participants. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Norziaton. And the third, I give to my colleague, Mrs. Dian, for give to us closing statement. Time is yours, Miss Dian. Mrs. Dian.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ageng. Thank you so much for all. And then I proud to able to have an event with Prof. Choi and Associate Prof. Norziaton and Associate Prof. Febrian. Okay. Based on government policies to maintain the existence of small medium enterprises, 18% have answered the needs of UMKM players to survive during the COVID-19 pandemic. Because small medium enterprises are so important in maintaining economic stability in Indonesia, and seeing the data, the small medium enterprises contribute 16%. I think we proud if you are small medium enterprises. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Dian. And then the last to Mr. Febrian, please give us closing statement.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ageng. Is so short, yes. Small business, we and all people in Indonesia and the world will still need to be able to get tough in this pandemic. It remains just what we do personally and cooperating with the existing policy in the government so that this situation will soon improve and we can all return to enjoying life as we wish. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Febrian. And then to sum up, we are this seminar, we are all agree that the SMEs are the backbone of the economy, playing a big role for any country. And SMEs, I think in Korea, Indonesia, Malaysia, represent 19% of global business, contributing a significant number of job creation and inclusive economic development. And we strongly believe that making SMEs development as a great priority shall be taken seriously by government all around the world in order to save up the economy. Okay. This is the end of the session. Yeah. Tomorrow we still have more events, and I hope the all participants can come back. Yeah, we can come back to the day 2 for SMEs overview. Okay. At the end. Once a friend, forever friend. It's from Professor Choi. I am Ageng Asmara. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
I
Choi.
give to the master of ceremony, Miss Asri.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ageng Asmarasani, and our extraordinary speakers for international webinar today. Okay, to all of you, yeah, all participants. Before we are going to the next session, yeah, which is the closing session, yeah, I would like to return to invite all participants, yeah, including the keynote speaker, to taking a picture. Yeah, taking a picture again. So may all participants can switch on your camera. Yeah, and our operator will be guide to take a picture. Yeah, so please on your camera and give a best expression, yeah, for this noon. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, once again. Okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, thank you all. Okay. Once again, I would like to say thank you to our speakers, yeah, for all of the information and insight provide today, yeah. And thank you, audience, yeah, for the participation in this in discussion, yeah. From YouTube channel, from Zoom, yeah, and special once again thanks to our moderator. Okay. Now we have finally come to the end of our session. Yeah, may I thank you very much for your active participation in this webinar. For your information, we have a certificate, yeah, of participant that will be given accordingly at the end of the event. Yeah. On behalf of Alma Ata University, we thank our speakers once again and our participation for joining us today, yeah, for the international webinar series 1. Yeah, we hope everyone can take ideas, yeah, and continue this discussion in your own community, yeah, more innovative and suitable for going forward. Ya, thank you, terima kasih. Sampai jumpa kembali di series selanjutnya for tomorrow. Ya, saya tutup. Ya, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.